What is up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again. Today we have a very special race to win diecast in this studio. It is the 1993 Dale Earnhardt Coca-Cola 600 race to win car. What a throwback. And it's not even a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. No, it is a Chevy Lumina right at the end of its lifespan before the Monte Carlo came back into the sport. What a cool looking car. Let's do the diecast review. Alright folks, brand new diecast in the studio, and let me tell you, what a retro looking car. These early to mid 90s Chevy Luminas are something else. I mean, look at how rigid the front end is on this diecast. Holy cow, it looks like a staircase. That is incredible. The diecast mold for these Chevy Luminas, very retro indeed. So let's go ahead and zoom in here and check out this Dale Earnhardt race to win. So the interior on the car is red. A lot of people probably don't even remember that, but they used to be able to run painted interiors back then. They started regulating that because, well, let's just say the teams were hiding things in the car. They were hiding weld spots, making certain portions of the car heavier and lighter. So inevitably, people were getting away with it because they were painting the interiors different colors, and that was harder to see. Well, now they just kind of do a light gray interior for the most part. You got the GM Parts Goodwrench logo, a little bit of an old school font, a little bit different there. Got the red bow tie, which is so cool. You got the front end of the car right here, Chevy Lumina. You have that nice silver stripe at the bottom with a red stripe that separates from the top. Very, very sharp. Got some contingencies on the front panel. I mean, there's probably more contingencies on this front fender than there is on most next-gen cars entirely, which is kind of fascinating. Beautiful, beautiful diecast mold. And the front of the car actually does have the grill markings into the diecast metal. It's kind of hard to see, but it's not perfectly smooth there. Well, let's side the diecast. Now, the number placement on the car seems a little bit far back. I don't know how accurate this is. This is back in 1993, so things have changed, throughout the years. So I'm not sure how accurate this is. I love how they produce this car with the more realistic wheels or tires. I'll give kind of an example, but if you look at the current day production of cars, the Goodyear lettering's a little bit blurry. It's a little bit fuzzy. But when you look at this wheel, it's actually really crisp. Great job with that. And they stopped doing this about halfway in 2019. Well, since this is a NASCAR Classics line, they're probably just reusing, well, the standard Goodyear print that they've done for many of the NASCAR Classics releases during the 2010s. Got Mac Tools right there, Mom and Pops. Now, I think there's a few logos that are missing on the car. There's supposed to be a logo right here. I think it's a Stetson's logo. Got whatever that's AC, whatever the biff that is. Got Dale Earnhardt signature. Got your bootleg Winston Cup Series logo. NASCAR race car. A whole bunch of contingencies. This is before the EA Sports days, I think. Got Goodyear. Go to the back end of the diecast. Let me tell you, these Luminas are cool, man. Now, I think these little, I don't know what you call these. They're like a little kick out on the back bumper are supposed to simulate possibly where the exhaust would be on the production car. I could be mistaken. Get Mr. Goodwrench. Is that what it says? Quick Lube Plus, number 3. Got your bow tie there. Take a closer look at the bottom of the car. One thing I've noticed with a lot of the 1990s diecast molds is, for whatever reason, they didn't paint, or not paint, but they didn't color in or fill in the middle of where the drive shaft and the transmission would be on the bottom of the car. It's always been open. I've had numerous 1990s diecasts in the studio, and they're all like that for some reason. A ton of them. I don't understand that. I mean, it's cool. I like the depth and detail, but it's like, why is it only that certain era, the 1990s cars? Did they just stop altogether? Even some of the 80s cars actually had it as well, the 164s. Go to the right side of the diecast here. Now, this is another one of those things where I don't know if it's accurate or not. You see how the door number is very raised up, looks pretty good, very proportioned. And then you go to the left side of the car, and that thing is, it is sandbagging. Now, this is back in the era where you could modify the aero kits on these cars very, very well. The template technology, there was no lasers. It was metal templates. You could bend and shape the metal as much as you want. Some of the cars were shorter. Some of the cars were longer. I mean, they modified these cars like crazy back in the 80s and 90s. Don't believe me, you can look it up. But the reason why I'm mentioning this might not be entirely inaccurate. Because if the right side of the car was a little bit wonky jaw, also notice the driver's side window has the plastic there. I didn't realize that at first. Sometimes they don't have one there. But if the right side of the car was maybe taller or modified, that would explain why it's very low. And another layer to that is the Jeff Gordon, I think it was like 2011 or 2012, maybe 2014. They made a remake of his 1994 Brickyard 400 race to win. Well, the right side of that car was absolutely drooping down to the side skirts. So, did the cars really run that way? Or is that just a factory error they haven't fixed in a decade? I don't know. At the top of the diecast, of course, pick this one up from our good friends over there at Circle B Diecast. You can too if it's still in stock. Use promo code Diecastbuffet. Pick up your copy today. They might even have the 124 scale. Check and see if they have the 1998 Daytona 500 race to win. They might have that in 124 or 164. Check it out, fellas. I love these old school cars, man. I wish they would make more NASCAR classics. Unfortunately, they make like 3 every year, which I think is a shame because there's a gajillion paint schemes that either got produced on crappy diecast molds or they never got produced at all, right? You can make any random 80s, 90s, or 2000s race to win car and someone's going to buy it, okay? There's plenty of opportunities for them. So I think only making 3 per year is really limiting it. Like, I understand you can't just make them all because then it doesn't make it special. It doesn't have hype. But they're making far too few of them, in my opinion. Go to the back end of the car. I got GM Performance Parts. Now, this is interesting. Notice the GM logo here looks different than the one on the hood. So I'm not sure if that is a template issue. Did they just goof up, or is it actually real to the real car? Maybe they had a different logo. Maybe they ran out. Like, maybe this was the old font, and when they were actually wrapping the car before the Charlotte race, they used the old school decal. I don't know. Maybe so. Regardless, this is such a cool car, man. Love these Luminas, man. They made a ton of these in the NASCAR Classics line. The Jeff Gordons. I think they even maybe made a couple Darrell Waltrips. They made the Dale Earnhardts. Probably some more that I'm forgetting, but it's interesting. They went from the Monte Carlo in the mid-'80s. They ran that for a number of years. They switched to the Lumina, and then about when Jeff Gordon was let's see, he came in 93. That was his first full-time year. He was a rookie in 94. So about 95, 94, they switched back to the Monte Carlo, did that to 07, and then the Impala came through in 08. Technically 07 if you consider the COT, but it's just fascinating, the history of the Chevy vehicles. But yeah, what an awesome looking stock car. Yes, the interior does ride a little bit low. You can see the top of the window net there, and the bottom chassis, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but you can see how this portion of the chassis is very exposed, and in this side it's kind of tucked up behind the side skirt. So again, this is back in the days of the true aero wars, where some of the cars will have a much taller side skirt, which this is the case, I think. Look at the left side skirt, and look at the right side. It's incredibly different. I'm trying to find a good angle for it, but you can see the right side is completely snub-nosed, and the left side is dragging. I noticed this on a Ford Thunderbird early 1990s diecast. So I'm guessing that's just how their cars were made. They allowed them to make the right sides really low, more downforce, and the left sides to have minimal metal. So I'm guessing the air would travel underneath the car. It would press against the right side sheet metal, and that's essentially like a diffuser on a next-gen car. It just gives them that much more downforce. So when they're going in the corner, the wind is pushing against it. thus kind of holding it to the racetrack a little bit. That's kind of my theory with it. I could be mistaken, but that is all for today's Diecast review. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a blessed one. Diecast Buffet signing off.